Hey everyone, Master Young here. I hope you guys are doing well this afternoon. I was just thinking, we didn't put out a video earlier today, and I was thinking that we probably should. A lot of stuff on my mind recently, and one of the things that I want to know from you guys right away, because today's video is going to be about sleep. A lot of people struggle with sleep, and a lot of people wish they could sleep better. So here's my thought today. If you could, in the comments below, put a 1 if you sleep poorly, 2 if you kind of sleep but not quite really, 3 if you get sleep but you're kind of in waking patterns, a 4 if you sleep pretty well but you wish you could sleep better, and a 5 if you sleep perfect every night. So if you could list down, how does your sleep, rate your sleep quality. 1 is like poor, 5 is the best. Tell me exactly what you guys do for sleep. And I think one of the things that we're going to talk about for a few minutes is a few tips that I like to use to get to sleep well. Now, everybody's always told me that I am just a sound sleeper, like there is nothing that wakes me. But I've always thought that I'm kind of a restless sleeper. I feel like in a lot of ways I can be really, really light sleeper, and sometimes I am just like completely out of it. And there's some tricks that I like to use, I like to talk about when I talk to people about their sleep quality. So I'm going to share those with you in just a second. So again, just in the comments below, put a 1 if you sleep poorly, put a 5 if you sleep awesome. I just want to know what your status of sleep is. So my big question today that I want to ask you is, do you sleep well? How do you rate that? How do you think about your sleep? When you're thinking about sleep, do you feel unrested constantly? Are you an 8-hour a night person? Because 8 hours a night for sleep is what they say is kind of the magic number to feel rested and to feel well. I've always classified myself as like an 8-hour night person, and if I don't, I am just cranky. But one of the things that I have found recently is when the quality of my sleep is better, then the amount of my sleep does not necessarily have to be adding up to that 8 hours. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in just a second too. Number 2 question is why is sleep important to you? A lot of times people say sleep is important to our health, but unless we relate it to ourselves, if we don't think like, hey, sleep is really important to me, then at the same time, you're really, really not connecting the dots. You are not allowing yourself to have great quality sleep if it's not actually important to you. So you want to think about that. You want to think, why is sleep so important to me, and do I really want it to be better? So my next question is this, is what is your routine? Do you actually have a routine for your sleep prior to getting ready for bed? Do you have a morning routine when you wake up? So those are some thoughts that you guys might want to ask yourself. What is the routine that you use to get to bed? Can you actually do better at it? Can you make your routine a lot more steady? A lot of people talk about, I always, kind of rush to bed. I finish my TV, or I finish my dinner, I watch TV, I run to bed, basically, I fall asleep, and then I wake up and the next day is started. So I don't believe that that's really considered a routine. Maybe that's what you think is a routine at the moment. And if that's your thing and you sleep well, then great. I don't find that to work very well in my eyes, okay? And the last thing that I'm gonna ask you is, do you actually want to sleep better? So my tips today, I'm gonna give you 2 tools that I like to use. Again, if you haven't already, please go in the comments, put a 1 if you sleep poorly, put a 5 if you sleep awesome. I wanna know, kind of like a little quick survey, like how you do. So here is the thing. Kind of just real quick, how many of you, when you lay down to go to sleep, your mind just races? I mean, for me personally, like that's a huge problem. Like I like to go to bed and like to clear my mind. And so I kind of found this little tip that I stole from somebody else. And again, I'm just sharing it with you. But when my mind is racing and I can't focus before bed, it just keeps me up at night. I'm thinking about this thing, the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and I really never settle. Especially with me, I'm constantly trying to be ambitious. I want to grow all the time. And so for me, if my mind is racing, my rest is going to be poor. So here's my little tip. It's real simple. I like to keep kind of like they would call a dream journal, all right? Just a little book right by my bed. Pen or pencil, doesn't matter. And in my book, there's a couple things that I constantly write down. Number 1, I always want to write down what my next day's tasks are. Now, a lot of you go like, well, I don't really want to think about the next day yet. But for everybody, we always have what is on our mind for tomorrow, like sitting there before we go to bed. And the idea here is if you write it down, you know that that's going to be the first thing that you face in the morning, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to wake up and say, oh, what was I thinking about last night? Or, oh, like how many things do I have to do today? Very simply, you look at your journal and you go, oh, that's right. I said this because this is the most important thing for me to do. Now, I will tell you, if you want to add one more layer of spice to that routine, write your top 3 things that you have to get done tomorrow. That right there will kill it. If you write your top 3 things that you have to do tomorrow, instead of this long laundry list of everything, what you will do is not only become more accomplished with the things that you want to get done, like if it's a project, a task, an activity, whatever it is, you will become more efficient at those top 3 than you would if you wrote an entire list. Now, I will tell you, it will help you to get some of those other things out of your head if it's just a real full day. But as I said before, the top 3 will kill it for your day. You will most likely accomplish all 3 of those without any problems. And that's a huge weight off your chest if you think about it. Now, if you guys don't have a notepad, a lot of people say one of the comments is, I should not use my phone before bed. So that's really an ideal situation. I know that our phone is something that really, it probably sleeps right by your bed at this point. Maybe it creates your white noise. Maybe it creates different things for you, but it's okay. If you do use your phone, just keep it in a notes app or keep it on a quick little like PDF style or Word doc style app. Don't get crazy. Don't get into an app that is going to keep you searching through it for a long time. Make it simple. You can open the app, you can write down your top 3, and then you can move on. That's what you want to do. You just want to clear your head, use your notepad or use your app to get that out real quick. And that's tip number 1, okay? Tip number 2, and I know that this kind of sounds like something you should already understand, but do you have a written bedtime routine? If you don't have a written bedtime routine, could you write it down and put it, say, right on the bathroom mirror? Something that you can see every single day before you go to bed. I know Post-its are kind of funny, but I have Post-its just placed in certain spots, so I always check and remember. And the idea here, guys, is that you don't have to think in order to do. Like you can literally look at it, you can find your ideas that you use right there, and you can follow them religiously. And I'm going to tell you, routines help people calm down. Routines help people with consistency. Routines help people feel more comfortable, feel more rested, and that's the idea. The idea is to have something that you can consistently do at the end of your day that allows you the moment of calm, that you no longer have all this activity going in your life. You don't have to worry about the next idea. All you have to do is just focus on these few things before you get to shut down. I want you to think like a computer. Anytime you hit the button, the shutdown button on your computer, what happens? The computer goes through a process. It starts to think. It starts to go, okay, this needs to shut down first, followed by this, followed by this. And it takes a few seconds to get that process going. And then at the very end, what does it do? All the power turns off and it shuts down for the night. What you guys want to do is you want to kind of be the same way. You want to have the idea that this routine is your shutdown process. You're going to go through a couple things. Now, I'll tell you what my routine is, and it's real simple. My ideal time for bed any given night would be 10 p.m. Now, I'll be honest, 10:30 has been a little bit more my routine recently, but 10 p.m. would be an ideal time for me to go to bed every night. My kids are already down. I've had enough rest time after classes or whatever, and I'm ready to go. So my bedtime routine starts at 9:30, and it's real simple. At 9:30, everything is off. So you want to turn the TV off, you want to try to get the phone off, you want to basically get your ideas kind of settled down for the night. And as they said, if you're watching TV right before you go to bed, you have all this light, all this imagery going into your head, and it doesn't allow your brain to shut down. So that's what I do, is I make sure that I basically start that routine at 9:30, go in, change, PJs, whatever, brush your teeth, glass of water. Now, here's the next part, writing down your thoughts. Okay, all these moments where I'm just sipping my water, brushing my teeth, I've got time to think and kind of process a little bit. Now, the next thing I do is I'm gonna write down my thoughts, all right? Now, as I said, there's no TV or phone if at all possible, or in the Notes app, write it down quickly. But here's the next thing, lay down slow. Take a moment to actually lay down. Don't just jump in bed, hop under the covers, and you're done. Take a moment to sit on the bed. Take a moment to lay down in the bed. Take a moment to pull the covers up. Take a moment to rest your head on the pillow. Now, I'll tell you one of the best things that I have ever done for myself, and I learned it from my sister, and I started using it for my kids, and then I found that it works really well for me, is I like to use kind of like a version of white noise. It's called brown noise. I put on brown noise every single night, and just a little bit of that like consistent noise running on Alexa or your phone or whatever it is allows the room to kind of fill with none of the like little things that you just kind of hear, and allows my brain to ask the question like, what is that? What is that? What is that? So that brown noise filters out a lot of the like extraneous type of noises that I hear, and then it allows me just to kind of rest a little bit easier. And again, what it trained me to do is to fall asleep quickly. So if you're thinking of a way to fall asleep quickly, the brown noise is awesome. So the last part of this routine, I brush my teeth, glass of water, write down my thoughts. I lay down slow, make sure no phone. Brown noise is good. The last part is I actually tell myself to go to sleep. And I'm gonna tell you, I learned this trick in like meditation, but I also learned this trick, through different like study books. One of the things that happens, it's kind of like telling yourself to have confidence. If you tell yourself you're going to do a good job, you start to naturally believe, as I said before, that you're going to do a good job. If you tell yourself that it's going to be scary, then it's going to feel more scary. And the things that you tell yourself, you start to manifest or you start to do. So what I'm telling you is this: tell yourself to go to sleep. Now, some people do it in different ways. Some people tell each part of themselves to go to sleep. Go to sleep toes, go to sleep knees, go to sleep body, whatever they say. In my version, it's very simple. I just tell myself it's time to go to sleep. Real quick, simple thing. I throw in one little tidbit. I like to give thanks. Some people say prayers. Some people do different things. I like to say thank you to just kind of general thoughts. Thank you to my wife, thank you to my kids, my family for being special, my parents for always watching out for me, kind of like my own version of prayer. But I like to do that as I tie on the night too, just kind of leave the night with some happy thoughts. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these little tips on how to sleep better. I'll run through them one more time. Number 1 is write down your ideas before bed. And then number 2 is have a nice bedtime routine. Make sure you set it in stone. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions or you just want to talk about it, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. If you didn't write in the comments, put a 1. If your sleep is kind of poor, put a 5 if your sleep is awesome. Other than that, guys, I wish you great rest. Have a great night, and I will hopefully maybe even see some of you this weekend. So have a good one.